All right, and welcome to lesson number 3. So here we're going to talk about variables. Now remember our first program where we actually printed 5 plus 5 when we had 10. Okay, so 5 plus 5 give us 10 on the console. Standard. Oh, okay, sorry. See out right here, which we printed out 5 plus 5 on the console. So we had 10, right? So we can actually do this. We see when we want to change this, we have to always change it from here. We can actually use the concept of variables to store the data, the data that we are passing through in order to make reference to them. So to do that, if I want to store a variable, I have to create a variable according to the data I want to store into it. So here I'm dealing with numbers, so I'm going to say int, which is short for integer, and then I'm going to give the name of the variable. So let's say number. If I say int equals number, I will then set that one to 5. Now remember, we have two ways of writing a variable. We have declaring a variable which we don't have anything assigned to it, and also assigning the variable to the assign a value to the variable. So we can have a variable like this, and then later on assign number to it. So variable number equals 5, and here we want to print it to the stream. We will no longer have to do the 5 or 6. We have to use the name of the variable, which is number. So here what we have done is that we have declared a variable right here, and here we have initialized the variable to a number or an integer. So this is the declaration and this is the initialization. So when we run it, the computer will go into the system and identify the variable name variable, and here it will print out the value, which is what, 5. Now we can just cut this whole thing short by doing the declaration and assignment at the same time, by adding the assignment operator, which we know to be the equal to. In programming, it is not called equal to, it's called assignment operator. So we just reduce the lines into 2, int number equals 5, and it's going to do the same thing for us. So we print it out and we have the number 5 also right here. Okay, so we can say, let's try to do some mathematical computations. So we have int a equals 5, then int b equals 8, and now we will do c out a plus b, and it's going to give us 13. So we are using the variable spaces instead of the values, right? So we have 13 right here. So chances are that in the later on, if we decide to change the values to, maybe we have b to be 19, we don't have to go over it and change it again. We have to simply change the value assigned to the variable, and then it will affect it anywhere we see that variable. So this is the concept of variables. So they are like namespaces or containers in the memory of the computer. So anytime you make reference to that variable, the computer goes into the memory, looks at the name of the variable, and then fetches whatever you have stored in that variable and bring it to the bring it as an output. So that is the concept of variable and what it does. So think of the variable as a container or a bag that contains a lot of things. If you want to get access to the things in the bag, you need to do what? Bring out the variable, that's the bag, and open it in order to get access to it. So the computer will look at the variable name and then open it and get access to the values that are stored in it. Now over here we have used integers for int, that is the numbers. What if we want to store characters in it, like our name, text, and other things? What can we do? Here we have what we call the char, that is a character, and here we can set out, when we use the char, we can only set out one character, that is J. Okay, if it is J, fine. If it is K, we can only set out one letter of the alphabet, just one of them. And to declare that, we use what? A single quote in order to write the character and write there. You cannot add multiple characters or multiple characters in it. No, it doesn't work. So let's see when we do that. Let's see what happens. So we're going to say char name equals this equals John. When we call the name, we're going to get an error because it's not supposed to be like that. So let's run and see what. Now we have an error which has printed only 1 because it only sees 1, and that is one character that we can use in the character namespace or the character variable. But if we want to use more characters, as we have name John, what we need to do is to set add square brackets to them to suggest that I'm going to include lots of text in it. In this, we call it an array. Okay, we are not dealing with array now, but to be able to store long characters in this, we need to have the square bracket attached to this, and we can change this one to double quotation mark. So we can say my name is John. Now we run it and we have everything output. So let's see, we have John output right here. So in order to store list of a string of characters or a lot of characters, we need to do this character name, and then we add the square bracket, and then we can set out. So if my name is Godfred, okay, I'll have all these names stored in the character array. So I have my name stored right there. But if you want to output just a single character, we need to remove this and then use a single quote to be able to do that. So that is the concept of variable. So we can actually add more variables to it. So we can say this is first name because Godfred. Okay, my name, the first name is Godfred, and I'll say char last name. What have I done? Char last name, I'm going to remove this. It's not supposed to be this one. Char last name equals, okay, so char last name equals this, and then I can actually add like cout first name and then last name. Okay, when it comes to strings or characters, we don't use the addition symbol. We cannot use that one. We have to use this. So we would have to do first name and then last name, and then we have Godfred Isibu Franklin, and you see that they are printed together. So we can only create a space right here, or we can also do this, create empty space here, and it will be added to it. So either we add it to the character or we create it manually here. So have this first name Godfred Isibu Franklin. You can see the space right here. So the space is being treated as a value, a string, a character, and it will be added together to our code. So this is what variable is all about. We store a value into the variable, and whenever we call that variable, the value which is stored into it will be called. So we see you in the next video. We'll talk more about C++. If you have not subscribed, do well to subscribe to this channel for more informative video.